Incremental greetings. Let's continue the Supermemo course, the Pleasurable expansion, and it's the workload calendar. Let's first see what Fowl does about it.
That is, okay. So you can see here.
The key binding is Control W. In this case, it's mnemonic W for workload calendar. So what happens is that yes, this calendar shows you the workload among other things. So it's not just the workload, by the way. You see here the option workload, which I think is the default, but it's not limited to this.
That we have other items like Supermemo distributed all that stuff in multiple days.
That's it. He doesn't cover anything. It was just about 12 seconds. So let me add my 2 cents. So first, the repetitions, it's items and topics. Again, items and whatever is not an item. Topics, tasks, and concepts, you have undismissed concepts. So in this case, next day, it's just 3 topics. There are no items become outstanding. So that means that even if you don't do anything today and tomorrow, or even the next day, in a few days, you still have 1 outstanding item, regardless. That usually, if you use Supermemo every day or most days, you have to take into account that you will be adding more stuff here, because what you will do tomorrow that adds to the next day on top of what is already scheduled. The longer the collection, the older the collection, this is even more true, because you will get outstanding something you did last week, last month, half a year ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, and so on. And then you have the sum of everything from that month, and then the average. And this is true for every single month. Okay, let me expand on that. Remember, Control W. So look at that. Since my collection is older, I have outstanding elements in October, November, December, January, next year, So I can go super far away, not many, but look, I still have outstanding in 2026, 28. And now here's when I got most of the time 0, 0. But still I get something in 6 years from now. Do you see the sum? I still get 13, 9, 15. Look at that, it's so crazy. So that means that if I don't do anything for a few years, I will in 10 years from now, every month I will still have something becoming outstanding. Cool. Then you also have the monthly view that then I see every single month of the year. Now I start with 2024 and look at this. Look at the daily. It goes down and down, and next decade. So the first time that I have, so even in 2041, I will have 7 items. Only 1 every 2 years. You cannot see that with my face, sorry. Here you go. So let's use, so in 12 years, I will get about 2.5 items per month. Not much, but it's non-zero. Then all of these that we have seen is the workload. I can also go to the past, because this has been untouched, meaning that, hey, this become outstanding and remains outstanding. And look at the crazy numbers, a few hundred of each. Crazy workload, an average of 300 per day. Then 45, 33, 9, and 7. Okay. Then as we have said in the start of the video, this is the workload calendar, but it's not limited to the workload. So what you can also see first is only items if I want, or only the topics. It's the same information but divided. Then retention. This is new. It's the retention rate. The first number is the retention rate, and the second number is the consolidation. No worries, what does that mean? Basically, it's how well you remember. We will tackle this on the spaced repetition section of the course. And if it's a dash, means nothing was done. You didn't recall any single item that day. Next is repetitions. How many repetitions you have done. per items and per topics. Because what you have done doesn't mean is what was scheduled that day. Usually it will be less of what was scheduled, and you can also do more in case you build up a backlog. And look at that, a few hundred, even 1,000, that was the outlier. And some days you can see it's just anecdotal, that I just imported something. I wanted to import an article and I closed Supermemo, that's it. And you have the average. So that month I did an average of 110 item repetitions and 113 topic reviews. And I can do the same for yearly. So every year that I use Supermemo, look at that. 16,000, 75,000, 88,000, 4,000, 28,000. Very consistent. Why? First, this is just this collection. And I have used multiple collections, then I merge, I split again, so that's why it's so chaotic at this degree. That doesn't mean that's everything I have done in Supermemo. It's a limitation of using multiple collections. Not just that, you will also have new items. How many items you created every single month? So look at this year. 23, 5 to 11, 900, 990, 200 and something. Oh my god. But look at the annual. 10,000 items, 6,000, just 200. 2023 was very little, was very weak, and 12,000. What is that? Yeah, it's because I used a different collection. Mainly that year. So you have all of this. New items, repetitions, retention rate, topics only, items only, or both. That is the workload. And you have this daily, monthly, and on top of that, you also have the graph. So how many items I created every single day? Here you go. That's the graph. And you're gonna stretch it. So yeah, most of the days in the last months is just a few. So the maximum I did is 12 in one single day. But you can see that most of the days I'm doing something. So it's just to let you know that if you want, you can see all of the graphs, but this won't be kind of useless at the beginning because your collection will be just a few days old, so it's not meaningful until much later. And then, tiny details. You can have weekdays. Do you see how it's presented? It tells you the day, but also, hey, that was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the day of the week. This could be interesting because if I go to some cases, more recent, that's way too old. Look when I created most of the items. Saturday and Sunday. Saturday or a Friday. Sunday. Do you see a pattern? And then back up, I think it stops there. So it's good to notice a pattern. With this is, oh, now I realized how much do I do on weekends that I don't have to work. Most of the time, I don't have to work. Or what about the full? I have the month, I have the American order, so month, day, year, and the day of the week. Or I only want the short format, and that's it. Just the numbers. Or simple, that I don't need the year, because the year is on the header. And I can have smaller columns if I want to. Then you can choose what we have seen, those 4 options. You can choose every time. And you can click on switch. And you cycle through those. Items only, topics only, retention, repetitions, new items, and once again, workload. Then you can export if you want to Excel, if you want to have graphs or whatever that you cannot do in Supermemo. I won't cover that, just to let you know this is possible to do. And with this menu, you can see the actual key bindings, because almost virtually everything you can do, there's a key binding for it. See you in the next video.